At the end of the Asian continent is the Korean Peninsula. 5,000 years of culture and heritage is a part of the Korean people. A country colonized at the end of the 19th century. A land divided in half as a result of the Cold War. A country that started as the poorest and now is the 12th largest economical powerhouse. The host country of the '88 Olympics and the 2002 FIFA World Cup. From rags to riches, Korea has shown enormous potential. We would like to show the basis of what made all this possible. Saemaul Undong. Despite all the invasions and war, Korea has maintained a unique culture that was not influenced by any of these incidents. However, the Japanese annexation at the end of the 19th century and the Korean War took away all that. Until the late 1960s, Korean society was uprooted by differences in ideas and ravished by poverty. The GNP at that time was $85. The majority of Korean people barely had enough to buy food, since the Korean economy was based on agriculture. Consistent floods and drought caused nationwide famine. Lethargy, chaos, and frustration defined the Korean society at that time. The major concern of the government was to thwart poverty. Export of heavy industry was the main source of income. The 5-year economic plan that started in 1962 started to show results. Due to industrialization, there was a mass exodus of men from rural areas to the cities. The income gap increased between the urban and rural areas, and this caused difficulties to the rural community. The government had to come up with new ideas to support the dying rural community. However, the government projects had no impact on rural poverty. After the floods of 1969, the people were repairing roofs and roads without government aid. This caused great inspiration to President Park Chung-hee to help the rural community. President Park realized that government aid would be useless unless the people decided to do things autonomously. Moreover, motivating the rural community's self-help and cooperation was the key to developing the rural areas. These ideas were the basis for Saemaul Undong. During the 1970s, the government had no funds to start the project. However, with a little government aid, there were many basic needs that could be improved. The government experimentally proposed the 10 major projects for improving rural areas. These included expanding and paving local roads, improving roofs, kitchens and fences, opening laundry facilities, community wells, building bridges, and improving water systems. And the 35,000 rural villages received an additional 355 sacks of cement for free. The projects were under the sole custody of the village council. 16,000 villages, which is more than half of all the villages in the rural areas, and they showed major improvements. The majority of the projects were done by village funds and used self-labor. During the second year of the nationwide project, villages with major improvements were supplied with an extra 500 sacks of cement and another 1 ton of steel by the government. The government decided to help villages that helped themselves, Grass roofs and mud fences were replaced with modern tiles and cemented walls. The community roads were repaved. Bridges were built above streams. The villages developed with blinding speed. The rural people regained their confidence. Lethargic neighbors were stimulated to develop their own villages. Korea's rural areas showed signs of urbanization and development. Gaining confidence in the third year, the government decided to split the 35,000 villages into 3 categories, depending on their level of development. Most definitely, there was a difference in the amount of government aid in the 3 different categories. Environment projects increased in size as the years progressed. Housing and other facilities were restructured to fit the rural modernization in kitchens and bathrooms, along with new pipelines. Community and public facilities were increased. Village centers, multi-purpose recreational centers, along with public baths, warehouses, and other public facilities were built. The success of the environmental projects led to the projects for increasing overall income. The first income projects were aimed at improving road conditions to increase productivity. The people repaved the small paths into roads, so farming vehicles could make way into the fields. The government played a major role for the increase in rural development. In 1974, the rural output reached unprecedented levels. Agricultural education caused a revolution in farming methods. Conventional farming methods for raising rice and barley were radically changed to composite farming. Making agricultural complexes for profitable products, such as mushrooms and tobacco, helped to increase the overall income. Using greenhouses allowed the farmers to harvest fresh vegetables during the winter. Making community workplaces enabled the people to reduce unnecessary money loss due to individual labor. Raising cows, pigs, and chicken allowed for more profits. Fishing villages changed their production methods from fishing to breeding fish. Moreover, developing water systems, cleaning the streams, and farming areas were the key developing points for increasing the productivity of the rural community. Big projects such as building roads and sewage systems were done as a joint venture with neighboring villages to reduce costs. Moreover, the government built factories in the rural areas to increase the income of rural areas. Saemaul factories gave women a workplace and a chance to increase the total income. As a result, rural income steadily increased. In 1976, the rural income surpassed the urban income. In 1978, 98% of all villages became economically independent. The success of Saemaul Undong in the rural areas caused a spread to new areas such as schools, workplaces, cities, and factories, along with many other fields. The cities started the projects to stop corruption and to build a new metropolitan paradise. The 3 campaigns of Saemaul Undong consist of 3 components. They are mental, behavioral, and environmental initiatives. The mental campaign includes better ties with neighbors, inheriting and advancing traditional ethics propped up by filial piety and strengthening community awareness. The behavioral campaign emphasized public order on the streets, positive interactions, public manners, prohibiting drunken misconduct. The environmental campaign stressed the cleanliness of the area around an individual's home or business, controlling the street environment, and developing greener cities and streams. At the workplace, the project concentrated on making healthy values and beliefs along with a decent social interaction between co-workers. Creating a oneness within the workplace, helping the rural community, helping the homeless, staying in line were some of the project's objectives. The factory Saemaul Undong directed its energy to restoring the trust and affection of consumers and the general public as a whole. Emphasis was placed on consolidating the foundation for industrial peace and coexistence by bridging the gap in value systems between labor and management and establishing sound corporate ethics. Moreover, rural community service was another way of establishing sound moral ethics. The Saema'eul schools were the foundations of the Saema'eul spirit. Students learned about Saemaul Undong and its contributions to society. Villages and workplaces provided further education of Saemaul Undong, along with places for recreational activities. Especially the rural libraries provided information for new methods of farming. This was a major breakthrough for the rural community and was the reason for increased income. Saemaul Undong did not start off as a major national project. After 3 years of experimentation, the government realized that without the self-will of the people, Saemaul Undong would lead to failure. Saemaul Undong is not only an action-based project, but a mental reform. In other words, Saemaul Undong is a struggle for a better life, not only for the individual, but for the benefit of the society as a whole. Wealth is not only a material concept, but a mental one also. It is important not only for the people to lead better lives, but also for the descendants as well. It is a project to build a foundation for a better life for the family and neighbors, along with society and the nation, is the goal for Saemaul Undong. The 3 main values for Saemaul Undong are diligence, self-help, and cooperation. Diligence leads to sincerity. As the phrase, "the early bird catches the worm" shows, diligence leads to sincerity, a value that doesn't allow for falseness, hypocrisy, and vanity. Self-help defines one's fate based on one's effort. The proverb, "Heaven helps those who help themselves," shows that one is the master of one's fate. One has to be totally independent and must not ask for help from the outside. Cooperation is based on a pursuit for community growth. 2 heads are better than 1. As this proverb shows, community growth should be a team effort. Therefore, these 3 values and ethics of Saemaul Undong are the essence for a new society based on Saemaul Undong. The goals of Saemaul Undong are a better village, a healthy society, and building a prosperous nation. Ultimately, the goal of Saemaul Undong is building a united community and nation, and restoring peace and order to mankind. The prototype Saemaul Undong started as the government being in charge while giving self-governance to the village councils. The Ministry of Internal Affairs was in charge of the project. Other branches of the government took minor roles in the project for a smooth operation. County councils and province councils also took part in this project. The Myeon Council made a village development committee to ensure the smooth operation of the project. And the villages had a Saemaul leader, along with a municipal development committee. The development committee had a division of women and a division of youths, along with other subcommittees. The Village Development Committee made new plans and ran the other subcommittees. The committee's mission was to increase the income of the village and to implement new values and beliefs. Saema'eul projects were based on the county council's decision, and authorization from the magistrate was needed. The criteria for selecting new projects were based on the necessity for the residents, complementation of regional conditions, serving all residents in the project area, and the long-term effects of the projects. Implementation of the projects starts as raising as much of the necessary funds as the residents can afford, applying for and receiving external assistance in the forms of raw materials, money, and technology. Public servants are asked to visit at least twice a month to check and guide the progress of the national initiative in their jurisdiction. A public employee who is a division chief is briefed monthly, and there is an annual progress report. Stage evaluation was an important part of Saemaul Undong. There is a pre-project report, an interim report, and a post-project report. And the effects of the previous project were taken in deep consideration for the development of new projects. The post-project reports were used widely as a merit system for villages with achievements. After a year of experimentation, the government recognizes the importance of a leader. Villages with a leader followed the national guidelines properly, but villages without one spent their resources uselessly. Therefore, the development and proper implementation of Saemaul Undong needed dedicated leaders for the cause. The government realized the importance of a leader. In 1972, the government built the Institute for Saemaul Leaders. Each village had a male and female appointee. The leadership training emphasized self-sacrifice and setting a positive example. Education took place in a communal camp where they would learn teamwork and cooperation. Interactive education done by sharing success stories during small group discussions, and offers for continued guidance and assistance were given to the leaders. The leaders after the training were the main source of leadership and guidance for the other villagers. During a time where female involvement was limited, the involvement of the female population brought radical changes. The women raised funds for the development of the village. They saved rice and put their energy in city beautifying movements. Moreover, the women helped to ban gambling and drinking. The number of bars and pubs started to decline during this time. The education that was aimed for Saemaul leaders started to influence politicians, media people, religious leaders, and foreigners. Politicians and leaders that didn't show interest in Saemaul were highly influenced by the Saemaul education system. This was a cause in an increase for Saemaul Undong funds, and the reason why Saemaul Undong became a nationwide project. The success of Saemaul Undong has two major reasons. First was by using a competitive system that caused total involvement of the rural community. The inspired leadership of the government and the funding was a stimulus for the villagers. Moreover, praising and rewarding successful villages was another motivation for success. Second was the dedication of the Saema'eul leaders and the total involvement of the villagers. The people were surprised by the results and felt accomplishment. This accomplishment led to self-confidence, and this confidence gave birth to a purpose for success. People became diligent and understood the true meaning of cooperation. There was great success, but every achievement has its dark side. The total involvement of the government was the major source of success in the beginning, but became the major setback. Standardized government planning based on the merit system became another problem. Success was only based on material wealth. This caused people to rely on outside funding and was a cause for the passive attitude of the people. Moreover, it was a major cause for environmental destruction, along with the loss of tradition and culture. Challenges, endeavors, and pioneering are the main ingredients of human history. In any era, in any country that has a successful race and people, it has a strong foundation of moral ethics and a drive for success. A better life for the future. It has been 30 years since that slogan has driven the Korean people towards success. From a country with a GNP less than $100 to a country with a GNP of $10,000. This is the miracle done by the hands of the Korean people. Now for the prosperity for mankind. Saemaul Undong will provide the foundation. It is the wish of the Korean people that Saemaul Undong will be a key part in providing the world a chance to prosper and grow. Thank you.